Welcome back to the PolyTalksCast podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that's, well, it's changing the world as we know it. Electric and autonomous vehicles.
It really is. It's amazing how fast this technology is developing.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break it down for our listeners. What exactly are we talking about when we say electric and autonomous cars?
Good point. Let's start with electric cars. Instead of using gasoline, they run purely on electricity.
Okay.
They have a battery that you charge up just like your phone, and that powers the motor.
So no more trips to the gas station.
Exactly. Not for electric cars.
That's a win for the environment and our wallets.
For sure. And speaking of wins, there are some major players in the electric car world that are really pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, who comes to mind?
Well, you've got Tesla, known for their sleek designs and performance. Nissan, which has been a pioneer with the Leaf model.
Right.
And then you have BYD, a Chinese company that's making waves with their affordable and innovative electric vehicles.
Wow, I'm not as familiar with them.
They're all contributing to making electric cars more accessible and mainstream.
That's really cool. It's so fascinating to see how each company is approaching this technology in their own unique way. Okay, so we've covered electric. What about autonomous? Does that mean the car really drives itself, like with no human input?
Yeah, you got to. Autonomous cars, or self-driving cars, use a complex network of sensors, cameras, and software to navigate without a human driver.
Okay, so it's not just some futuristic fantasy, it's really happening. But how does all that tech actually work? It sounds incredibly complex.
It is complex, but let me try to simplify it. Imagine the car is covered in eyes. These eyes are sensors like cameras, LiDAR, and radar, which constantly scan the environment and create a detailed 3D map of everything around the car.
LiDAR and radar. Those sound familiar, but I'm not sure I totally understand them. Could you explain those a bit more?
Absolutely. LiDAR uses lasers to measure distances and create a very precise 3D image of the car's surroundings. It's especially good in low-light conditions. Radar, on the other hand, uses radio waves to detect objects and their speed.
Okay.
Even in bad weather conditions like fog or rain.
So they both kind of help the cars see.
Exactly. They both provide crucial information to help the car understand its environment.
So the car is collecting all this data, but how does it know what to do with it? Like, how does it make decisions like when to brake or accelerate or turn?
That's where the brain of the system comes in, artificial intelligence, or AI.
Okay.
All that data from the sensors and cameras is fed into a powerful computer in the car.
Right.
This computer uses sophisticated algorithms to analyze the information and make decisions in real time, just like a human driver would, but often even faster and more efficiently.
AI behind the wheel.
Oh.
That's both exciting and a little bit unnerving. So are all autonomous cars equally capable of driving themselves?
That's a great question. There are actually 5 levels of autonomy. It starts with level 1, which offers basic driver assistance features.
Like what kinds of features?
Like lane keeping assist or adaptive cruise control. Then you have level 2, where the car can control both steering and acceleration under certain conditions, but the driver still needs to be alert and ready to take over at any time.
So those first 2 levels sound like features we're already seeing in some cars today.
You got it. And as we move up the levels, the car takes on more and more responsibility. Level 3 allows for hands-free driving in specific situations.
Okay.
But the driver still needs to be available to take over if needed.
Gotcha.
Level 4 is where it gets really interesting because the car can handle most driving situations on its own.
Wow.
But there might be some limitations like certain geographic areas or weather conditions.
So level 4 is like almost fully autonomous?
Yeah, almost, but not quite there yet.
Okay.
And finally, we have level 5, which is full automation.
Okay.
A level 5 car can drive itself anywhere, anytime, under any conditions without any human intervention whatsoever.
Wow. That's the stuff of science fiction. A level 5 car would be like having your own personal chauffeur?
Right.
But realistically, are we even close to achieving level 5 autonomy?
We're making incredible progress. But level 5 autonomy for widespread use is still a few years away. There are some technical challenges to overcome, as well as important ethical and regulatory considerations to address.
That makes sense. There's a lot at stake when you're talking about machines making life or death decisions on the road.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those challenges. What are some of the biggest hurdles facing electric and autonomous vehicles?
One of the biggest hurdles, particularly for electric cars, is the cost of them. Electric cars are generally more expensive than traditional gasoline-powered cars.
Yeah.
Although the gap is narrowing as battery technology improves and production scales up.
Right. The initial price tag can be a barrier for a lot of people.
It can, but it's important to consider the total cost of ownership.
Okay.
Electric cars are much cheaper to fuel and maintain than gasoline cars.
Makes sense.
You don't have to worry about gas prices, oil changes, or many of the other expenses associated with traditional cars.
So it's like an investment. You might pay more up front, but you save money in the long run. What about autonomous vehicles? What are some of the challenges there?
Well, in addition to cost, which is also a factor for autonomous vehicles, one of the biggest challenges is infrastructure.
Okay.
For electric vehicles, we need a robust and reliable network of charging stations.
Right.
And for autonomous vehicles, we need advanced sensor networks, high-speed 5G connectivity, and detailed digital maps to ensure that they can operate safely and efficiently.
So we need to upgrade our entire transportation ecosystem to really make this work.
Exactly. And then there are the ethical and regulatory considerations.
Like what?
How do we ensure that autonomous vehicles make safe and ethical decisions in complex situations? How do we protect people's privacy when these vehicles are collecting so much data? These are all important questions that we need to address as this technology continues to develop.
Yeah, those are really important questions. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it and the impact it has on society as a whole.
I agree. It's crucial that we have these conversations and think critically about the implications of these advancements.
For sure. Well, this has been a fascinating start to our deep dive into the world of electric and autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've only just scratched the surface. Stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive,
where we'll delve even deeper into the potential impact of these vehicles on society, the economy, and even the future of transportation itself.
It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle up, and we'll see you in the next part.
Welcome back to the deep dive. In the first part, we explored what electric and autonomous vehicles are, how they work, and some of the challenges they face. But now let's shift gears and consider the broader impact these vehicles could have on society.
Yeah, I think that's what really captures the imagination, right? It's not just about cool tech. It's about how this tech could reshape our world.
Absolutely. And one of the most significant areas where we'll see change is the job market. Think about all the jobs that are directly tied to traditional gasoline cars, mechanics, gas station attendants, truck drivers.
Yeah, it's true. Electric cars require less maintenance, and with autonomous trucks on the horizon, the trucking industry could be completely transformed. Are we talking about massive job losses?
It's a valid concern. As with any technological disruption, some jobs will inevitably become obsolete. But it's important to remember that new technologies also create new opportunities. The rise of electric and autonomous vehicles will lead to a surge in demand for jobs in areas like software development, data analytics, battery technology, even charging infrastructure installation and maintenance.
So it's not just about jobs disappearing. It's about a shift in the types of skills that will be in demand.
Exactly. It's crucial for workers to adapt and acquire new skills to stay relevant in this evolving landscape.
That makes sense. And what about the impact on our cities? I've heard talk about how autonomous vehicles could revolutionize urban planning.
Imagine a city with fewer cars on the road because people are sharing autonomous vehicles or relying on more efficient public transportation systems. Less traffic congestion, less pollution, quieter streets, more space for parks and green areas.
Okay, now you're talking. I live in a city, and the thought of less traffic and more green space sounds like a dream come true.
It's not just a utopian vision, it's a real possibility. Autonomous vehicles could also revolutionize parking.
How so?
Imagine a scenario where your autonomous vehicle drops you off at your destination.
Okay.
And then parks itself in a designated area outside the city center, or even returns home to await your next trip.
Okay.
That would free up so much valuable urban space that is currently dedicated to parking lots.
Wow, that would completely change the look and feel of our cities.
And the impact goes beyond aesthetics. Think about the economic implications. Autonomous trucks could transport goods across the country more efficiently and at a lower cost, leading to lower prices for consumers and increased productivity for businesses.
It's like a ripple effect, right? Changes in one industry can create a cascade of benefits across the entire economy.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the environmental benefits. The shift to electric vehicles could drastically reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, leading to cleaner air, lower greenhouse gas emissions, a more sustainable energy future.
All of that sounds incredibly promising. But I imagine there are also potential downsides that we need to be aware of.
Of course. It's crucial to consider the potential challenges as well. One concern is the potential for increased inequality. If autonomous vehicles and electric cars remain expensive, they could become a luxury only accessible to the wealthy, creating a transportation divide.
That's a really important point. We need to ensure that these technologies benefit everyone, not just a privileged few.
Absolutely. And then there's the issue of data privacy. These vehicles collect a massive amount of data about our movements, driving habits, even our destinations. We need to have clear regulations in place to protect people's privacy and ensure that this data is not misused.
Those are some pretty weighty ethical considerations that we need to address as a society. It's a lot to think about. Could you give us a quick recap of the key points we've discussed in this part of the deep dive?
Sure. We've explored the potential societal and economic impact of electric and autonomous vehicles. We've seen how these technologies could transform the job market, reshape our cities, boost the economy, and create a more sustainable energy future. But we've also acknowledged the challenges and ethical considerations that we need to address.
Right. It's clear that these vehicles have the potential to revolutionize our world. But it's up to us to ensure that this revolution is a positive one that benefits all members of society.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now are you ready to take a peek into the future?
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear what wild predictions you have in store for us. We're back for the final part of our deep dive into electric and autonomous vehicles. So far, we've covered the basics, the real-world applications, and even the potential societal impact. But now let's shift into overdrive.
Yeah.
And talk about the future.
Let's step into the realm of what's possible, what's being developed, and what might be just around the corner.
Okay, I'm ready for some mind-blowing predictions. What's the next big thing in transportation?
Well, one area that's capturing everyone's imagination is the concept of flying cars. It sounds like science fiction.
It really does.
But companies like Uber and Hyundai are investing heavily in developing electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, or EVTOLs.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Flying cars. Like we could be zipping around in the air instead of being stuck in traffic.
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. These EVTOLs are essentially electric helicopters or drones that can take off and land vertically, making them perfect for urban environments.
That's incredible. I can already picture myself soaring above the city streets during rush hour. But what about safety? Wouldn't the skies be a chaotic mess with everyone flying around?
That's a valid concern, but these EVTOLs are being designed with safety as a top priority.
Okay.
They'll have advanced autonomous flight capabilities, sophisticated air traffic management systems, and redundant safety features to minimize the risk of accidents.
So it's like self-driving cars, but in the air. What other futuristic transportation ideas are out there?
Another concept that's gaining traction is personalized transportation pods.
Personalized pods. Can you take me a picture of what that would look like?
Imagine a pod that's designed specifically for your commute. It knows your preferred route, your ideal temperature, your favorite music. It could even have a built-in coffee maker or a workstation, so you can be productive on the go.
Okay, now that's an innovation I can get behind. A self-driving coffee pod that takes me to work. Sign me up.
And these pods could be seamlessly integrated into a larger transportation network.
Okay.
Connecting with public transportation hubs and other modes of transportation.
Right.
You could hop on a pod for part of your journey and then transfer to a train or an EVTOL for another leg of your trip.
So it's like a personalized, on-demand transportation ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What other innovations are in the pipeline?
We're also seeing exciting developments in Hyperloop technology.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that, which uses pods traveling through vacuum-sealed tubes to transport people and goods at incredibly high speeds.
Right.
And then there are companies exploring underground tunneling systems.
Wow.
That could bypass traffic congestion altogether.
It sounds like the future of transportation is going to be incredibly diverse and exciting. With all this innovation happening, what are some of the key trends we should be watching for in the coming years?
One major trend is the increasing integration of artificial intelligence into every aspect of transportation.
Okay.
We've already talked about AI's role in autonomous vehicles, but it will also play a crucial role in optimizing traffic flow, managing transportation networks, and even personalizing travel experiences.
So it's not just about the vehicles themselves, it's about creating a smarter, more connected transportation ecosystem.
Precisely. And another major trend is the continued electrification of transportation. We're seeing electric buses, trucks, trains, even planes starting to emerge.
It sounds like a full-on electric revolution. It is. And as battery technology continues to advance, charging infrastructure expands, and costs decrease, we can expect this trend to accelerate even further.
Well, this has been an incredible journey into the world of electric and autonomous vehicles. Before we wrap up our deep dive, can you leave our listeners with some final thoughts about what the future holds?
The future of transportation is full of possibilities and challenges. We're on the verge of a major transformation that will reshape our cities, our economies, and our daily lives. It's an exciting time to be alive, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me too. It's clear that this technology has the potential to make our world a better place. But we need to approach it thoughtfully and responsibly. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of transportation. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to explore this fascinating topic further. Don't forget to subscribe to the PolyTalksCast YouTube channel for more insightful deep dives like this one. Until next time.